Hi guys, and welcome to episode 14 of my retrospective look at TT Games LEGO games of the past. If this is your first time watching a video from the series, then please don't forget to subscribe, and please do visit our YouTube channel and lifeinbrick.com for the full series. Now first of all, apologies to any of you that have been waiting for another episode. I spent the last few weeks focused almost entirely on LEGO The Incredibles. Great game, by the way, highly recommended. If you do want to check out a bit more about that game, then there is a Let's Play series on our channels, and don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, back to the retro review, and skipping over LEGO Dimensions for the time being because it clearly deserves a full series of its own right, we move on to the next big release from TT Games. Now, despite Dimensions' smorgasbord of franchises, there was a couple of noticeable absentees. One of my personal favourites, in fact. And no, I'm not talking about Star Wars for the first time in forever. I am, of course, referring to Marvel's superheroes. Now, cast your mind back to 2013, the dawn of a new generation in console gaming, and the release of the LEGO game that was universally praised by fans and critics alike, LEGO Marvel Superheroes. For the first time, TT Games put down the Dark Knight's cape and cowl and turned their attention to the comic book rival, Marvel. With more than 70 years in print and 5 years of taking over Hollywood blockbuster season at that point, the game's designers weren't short of source material, which they used brilliantly to fuse together both the modern movies and the comic book counterparts. The game featured an original story which went way beyond the movies in terms of character involvement, including giving many their first opportunity to see a certain group of Guardians. Now fast forward 3 years, and thanks to the second phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, introducing the larger world to an array of new and exciting characters, the Avengers reassembled for a fully adapted movie universe in brick form. Unsurprisingly, LEGO Marvel's Avengers. Now, as the name would suggest, the primary focus of the game's stories are the two ensemble movies, Marvel's Avengers Assemble, or just Avengers if you're in America, and Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, while these movies alone provide more than enough iconic moments to produce a fantastic video game, the developers went one step further and integrated key points from Captain America's 2 solo outings, Iron Man's prequel, the less said about Trevor the better, and Thor's adventure into the 9 realms during the convergence. Not limited to the same linear path as the movies, LEGO's Marvel's Avengers cleverly plays through the timeline of the MCU in such a way that you don't always know what's coming next. A great example of this is very early on in the LEGO's unique retelling of the first Avengers film, when you're slowly introducing the core characters. The gym scene with Steve Rogers fighting through the pain, loss he's dealing with, which in the movie is represented in flashbacks, sent us hurtling back through time to take on Red Skull in 1940s Europe. It's this clever manipulation of the movie timeline which really shows just how far TT Games have got up until this point when you compare it to, say, the LEGO Star Wars series. Now, I'm not denying that those games aren't amazing, I said so in episode 1 of this series, but following the movies almost frame for frame left little room for originality and innovation, something 2 levels in, LEGO Marvel's Avengers already provides us in abundance. The innovation doesn't stop there either, with a plethora of new gaming mechanics included. While LEGO Marvel's Avengers isn't likely to convert any non-fans to the long-running franchise, it certainly does everything possible to ensure both LEGO and Marvel lovers have a great experience which doesn't feel like a simple extension of the 2013 game. Now, many of the characters returning from the previous Marvel game bring some new powers and abilities with them. The highlight being Hulk's ability to super jump into incredible heights, a skill that we've come to take for granted in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2, and there's no denying that this particular skill brought both advantages and a heightened level of amusement. Some of the other great mechanics that first appeared in this game include Quicksilver's ability to run over water. Now, that may sound vaguely familiar for any of you that have been playing LEGO The Incredibles recently, especially if you've enjoyed playing as Dash. Now, between Marvel 1 and Avengers, the character roster saw something of a significant boost as well, with around double the playable characters, 100 of which had never been seen in a LEGO game before. Now, whilst LEGO Marvel Superheroes introduced large characters into the LEGO games, such as Hulk and the Thing, LEGO Marvel's Avengers went one better, introducing giant LEGO creations of characters, such as the multi-story-sized Thing Fang Foom. Now, this again offers a new gaming experience that no other game of the franchise has had before, and at no point did I attempt to recreate any scenes from Godzilla while playing through as Foom. Honest! One of the major issues with the game's predecessor, that goes for all predecessors actually, for his DC games as well, was the overabundance of characters that shared the same powers and abilities. Eventually you'd get to the point where you'd just be bored, you wouldn't have any motivation to go and unlock any other characters, and so 100% became a real kind of challenge, not because it was difficult but more because it could get quite dull. TT Games' solution to this? Team-ups and Avengers initiative moves. Now they're two of the best mechanics that this game actually brought into the franchise, though despite the new gameplay for the tried and tested method, they haven't really been utilised in the game since, well, team-ups at least. So team-ups essentially provide a combination of new moves which vary depending on which two characters you've selected, and there's a number of nods to the movies which Marvel fanboys and girls will be jumping for joy over. Take Thor and Captain America as a great example. Remember that superb scene in Age of Ultron when they're head to head with a group of Hydra soldiers? It's pretty early on in the film, and the hammer and the shield create an awesome shockwave. Yeah, that's their team-up move. The only downside to this new mechanic is the fact that it can only be activated at specific times and specific points, and so it's not something you can use on a whim during open battle. That said, as a first time introduction to a LEGO game, it's a fantastic inclusion. Moving on to the Avengers initiative moves. Now, for obvious reasons, these have been renamed in future games, but you essentially get the gist. When you're fighting a bad guy and basically it'll come up with a B, or if you're playing on Xbox or whatever the button is it comes up with, and you press it and it basically quick prompts and it does a few little bits of animation. That was introduced in this game, so back at this point each character has their own unique moves, from Captain America's very kind of physical hands-on approach to Iron Man's using tech. It's a fun little deviation from the standard punch shoot which LEGO games have been renowned for up until this point. Now, outside of the story, the improvements on the previous Marvel game continue with a massive extension on the open world hub concept. Now, when LEGO Marvel Superheroes was released, the open world Manhattan was an impressive achievement in its own right. The detail, the scale proved vital in keeping players interested for much longer than the story. Now, it's pretty much standard, and if there's one thing that LEGO Marvel's Avengers tries not to be, it's standard. In addition to a re-rendering of the Manhattan seen in the previous game, we also get 7 other open worlds to explore, all themed around the movies. Asgard, Sokovia, South Africa, Barton's Farm, Malibu, Washington DC, and even the S.H.I.E.L.D. base from the first Avengers film. The game continuously introduces all of these hub environments as you progress through the story and unlock more content. This integration really drums in just how much content there is available in this game. The hub worlds themselves all work around the standard template of numerous races, puzzles, side missions, everything you need on your journey to 100%. Moving on to the audio side of it, and another one of the big letdowns of the previous LEGO Marvel game, in my opinion, was the voiceover work. While that game did include a number of well-known voice talent from the animated side of Marvel, it's because of the movies that it doesn't quite have that same wow factor. Here, however, the large majority of the vocals in-game are taken straight from the sound bites from the movies. So Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr., Nick Fury is Samuel L. Jackson. It's superb, and unlike many of the other LEGO games that have tried to use movie soundtrack, the quality is decent throughout. Now, what is really impressive is the way that many of the lines from the movie are deliberately used out of context in the game to either parody the movies or just simply reuse the content for a different setting. It's much like if any of you ever played the Ghostbusters add-on for LEGO Dimensions. They used a lot of the 1980s vocals in that, but they kind of changed it to create new comic moments essentially. Now, LEGO Marvel's Avengers is a prime example of TT Games' abilities to learn from their past work, taking the best bits and improving on the mistakes that they made previously, and still maintaining a great gaming experience, which is familiar to the long-term fans. This game is also about innovation and pushing the boundaries of what these games could do at the time, without drastically altering the established standard. The game is fantastic, it's a great homage to the movies, it's littered with nods to Marvel's long history. Content wise, there is more than enough varied gameplay to keep any Marvel fan coming back for more. And that isn't even including the DLC that comes with it, which I won't go into now. Anyway, I highly recommend this game. If you've not played this but you're a fan of LEGO Marvel Superheroes, definitely give this a go. Of course, now we've had LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2, and that's taken it up another notch, but this game is definitely one to play if you haven't already. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the series. Please do let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this game if you have played through it. I'd be very interested to see if any of you would like me to do a Let's Play on this, because just playing through it for this, I really enjoyed it, and I would happily go back to that game at any point. Anyway, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do let me know what you think. Please do visit us around the web, or go to lifeinbrick.com. You'll get everything you need from everything we do. I'll be back very soon with another video. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.